Welcome back, Stasa23 here, back again with some knife therapy. And today's knife I have for you is the Enrique Pena X Series Mula. This is one of Enrique's custom designs that he turned into a production line, which is his X Series. Just like this trapper, and as you can see, it says X Series right there. And they're super high quality. This is made by Riyadh, and I'm pretty certain that this one was too. It feels like Riyadh quality. And it's definitely not a flashy design, and it's a small to medium EDC. And I wasn't really sure if I was gonna pull the trigger, but I'm kind of glad I did. This is just gonna be a quick video. As the day that I was filming this video, they were still available, I think, on like Knife Center and maybe a couple other sites. And I think, well, just check them, just search, Google it if you're interested. But let's get a quick size. I didn't get the size on these. Let's see. It's about a 7.5 inch knife with a 3 1/4 inch blade. And if you go all the way back into this first trawl, you have about a 3.5 inch grip area. Let's check the thickness of these scales. 0.47, so not thick whatsoever. You have a blade stock thickness of 0.13. And let's check the thickness behind the edge. Let's go in the middle. 15 thousandths there, and very hard to do this behind the camera. 16 thousandths there, so not bad. That's definitely acceptable in my opinion. You got a decently high saber grind on there, and a nice little swedge up top. Let's see the width in the pocket. 1.12, so definitely it definitely rides in the pocket well. You know, it's not wide here. You don't have any flipper tab like getting in the way of you, and it's not super thick in this dimension either. You have just a classic drop point blade with that beautiful belt satin finish that they do. I love that look of that. That's why I'm pretty sure this is Riyadh, because it looks like the Riyadh grind. Came screaming sharp, and I've used it a good little bit. It's still pretty sharp. The blade steel on this one is Bowler M390. I'm pretty sure all of the X series so far were M390. Correct me if I'm wrong. You do have dual thumb studs that are nice and decorative. They look like some tie connector thumb studs that I bought. I don't know if they're titanium, but they look like that. The ones that I have, nice little ridges. You have the Pena X series on this side. Like I said, you have blade steel designation on this side, so you don't have a whole bunch of billboarding on the blade. You have that nice fine jimping, so if you're a jimping guy, this one definitely will do the job whenever you're putting pressure down there. But if you know, it's not hurting my thumb whatsoever. So if they have to have jimping, I like it like that. And as you can see, it does come up a little bit of a ramp right here. The access to those thumb studs, they do sit a little higher than the scales. And I noticed, just put your thumb there and it rockets out. Riding on ceramic bearings. Nice, just nice and clean. Your sharpening choil might be a little bit short here. It looks like, yeah, you got a little flare in the back. I don't know if that's gonna get worse with sharpening. It doesn't look like it here. Maybe they just went up a little too high whenever they were sharpening on this side. Can't really tell, and I won't really know until I do my initial sharpening. You have a decent point for piercing, but you do have a little bit of meat behind it, so it's not a dainty tip at least. The scales are just flat titanium. They have not been skeletonized, so it is a little weighty in hand. At first, it kind of threw me off for the size. It just felt like it was pretty heavy in hand. Not heavy, but you know, those are pretty thick titanium scales that have just a heavy chamfer there. So, you know, they don't look as thick, but they are pretty darn thick. You can see how high they go up. And absolutely no skeletonization in there. Let's check out the weight. So 4.06 ounces for a 3 1/4 inch blade. So yeah, it's definitely doable for me, and it's not not as bad as I thought it was. I guess because whenever I'd opened this, I just handled a knife that was super lightweight, and this one just kind of threw me off. You can spotty flick it. You can barely just push that thumb stud and it comes rocketing out. Now the detent it's not hard detent by any means, but it is dialed a little bit harder. So whenever I go to slow roll it, I just got to make sure I kind of catch it from the bottom, and I can easily slow roll it. But if I catch it in another area, I kind of kick the blade out a little bit. Not bad whatsoever, but that's kind of the way I like to see it, because, you know, that gives it some break in, some wear in time. Nice positive click there. Blade to handle ratio is pretty much a 1-to-1. You can't come in contact with that tip, or at least I can't. It just sounds deep enough, and I can't come in contact with that blade in the closed position either. I like how they kept it clean right here. Didn't put a lanyard hole in there, but you do have a lanyard post in the back right here. I'd much rather see that. This geared pattern on this backspacer, titanium backspacer, is flush with the scales. You'd only feel it if you're pushing into it. It is tip up right hand carry only. I do like that pocket clip. It does have a good bit of retention there. Let's see, is it the same exact pocket clip? It's pretty much the same design, except this one's just longer than the Trapper. I mean, it's a bigger knife. You have beautifully done flat torques, flat top torques, kind of like panhead torques on the body screws. They're all T8, excellent, and they're very nicely done. As you can see, they're nice and crisp, and they're decently deep, so you get a nice bite on it. I have taken this one apart, and it was a very tight fit. And you also, there is, was it this one? I'm pretty sure it was this knife. I took apart a few of them that night. I think there's also a locator pin somewhere in here. I could be mistaken. It could have been another knife. Like I said, I did a bunch that night. This thing came dead centered. No play at all, left or right. Super, super solid. And no up and down whatsoever. No muscling. Now, lockup is kind of early. I would have rather see it, you know, about 40%. This is about, I'd say 20% or 15, whatever you want to call that. But it is solidly locked up. Just hurting my hand. So far, no problem there. The show side scale and the lock scale are flush with each other, but they are wide enough, and they do have those chamfers, and you do have those little dots right there. It's very comfortable to disengage this lock bar, and there's not a ton of lock bar pressure. This thing, I think one thing that sent this knife over the moon for me, you know, like I said, it's not a flashy knife. It's a, you know, pretty plain design, classic looking, but the action on my particular one is just, look, I hope they're all like this. Look at this, outstanding. I mean, whenever I break that, when I come down later, it just has absolutely, it's effortless. Super, super snappy. It does have a detent ball ramp cut into the, you can see that the little cut right there by the lock face. if you see that down in there, and I'll shine some light on it just in case. There you go. Nice added touch. So whenever you're disengaging that lock, you don't feel that detent ball jumping onto the tang of the blade. It's just a seamless close. Almost feels like there's no detent ball there. Super, super smooth. And very snappy whenever you want it to come out with authority. Great feeling in hand. I haven't noticed any hot spots. I've only broke down cardboard with this one so far. I haven't done my low wood testing, but it's comfortable as it's going to be with a flat scaled knife. But you do have these deep chamfers that kind of give it the feeling of 3D contoured scales. Comfortable in the left hand as well. Comfortable in the pull grip. Really comfortable in the reverse grip. Not that I'd ever use that. And you know, I tend to do this a lot with my knives because I'll either be trying to get something out of a hole or making a hole or doing some nice precise cuts. So that's always nice. You do have I'm not sure, it looks like a copper pivot collar. Might be brass, so don't quote me on that. But it does look nice. This thing is definitely a blank canvas for some mod work. I'm sure I will be doing some, I'm thinking about putting some like mayo holes in here or something just to lighten it up a little bit. The balance point is, I'd say that's pretty perfect because it's right there in that forward choil right there. Yeah, that's perfect. So they did a good job. I mean, they have this thicker blade, so I'm guessing that helped counter this this titanium, all this titanium. Let's get some size comparisons out of the way real quick. What do I have right here? Got the Berg blade pup. I got a small spins at 21. Both of these are smaller. The 21's more closely sized in length. Let's see what else I have. I have a Hogue Deca. Now these two are pretty much identical in length, and they look a lot alike. The scales are wider on the Deca, but they have a lot of resemblance here. There you go, because I mean it's a pretty, you know, traditional looking design. You also got the Para 3. Para 3 is a little bit shorter overall. And let's see if I have anything else. Since the Para 3 was shorter, look, this is the Para 2, which is a good bit longer, of course. And this is right here, the Spyderco Smock. Smock is also a decent bit longer. Alrighty. So, my only nitpicks and complaints would be this edge termination right here. Like I said, I don't know if they just, you know, sharpened it back too far, or if they didn't make this the sharpening notch high enough. Just something I would have liked to see fixed. I don't know if I even said this, but I'm pretty sure this knife came in at, I think, $285, somewhere around there. It's either $275 or $285 or some in that ballpark. For the quality and the limited nature of most of these X series knives, I think it's worth it. But you got to make that decision. Pretty much anything, whenever you get past that $100 mark, you're kind of not really getting anything extra out of, the materials. You're getting quality, or if you like the design. So, so far it seems to be a pretty good slicer. It's decently thin behind the edge. Action's excellent. My only other complaint that I noticed, and I think I noticed it really quick because I bought two knives and both of them had the same thing. And these ridges right here on the lock relief, even though it looks nice. They do have, 90-degree edges on top, and it's not like I'm feeling that or anything, but whenever you're putting it in the pocket and pulling it out, mainly when you're pulling it out, being that you don't have a ton of room underneath there, it grabs onto those and you can hear it go, and it's definitely going to be shredding up the pocket. It's not as bad as the other knife that I got that has it like that, but that's something that I'll probably end up modifying, because this knife is just screaming to be modified. It's got a lot of potential. I might just do something simple like anodize, the scales, just a solid color. I don't think I'll stossify this one. I think it would look nicer with like a bronze or something. But there you go. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, before I let you go, if you didn't see this in one of my other videos, I don't know if I showed it. I got some little medallions made from this company, Appalachian Laser. I've noticed them off of Instagram, and they made these dumpster fire coins, as they call them. This is a brass coin, just to remember not that I'll probably ever forget, but the COVID, and then on the other side, he has murder hornets, and as you can see, his laser work in the background. Very nice guy. We've been talking back and forth, and I decided to get him to make me some, as he called them, chips, or he called them challenge coins, whatever you want to call them. But this is made out of aluminum, with my logo here without the color. I think it looks beautiful. And then on this side, it's really cool. You have this QR? QR code. And if you have like an iPhone, you open up your camera and it'll immediately read this, and it'll take you to my YouTube channel. So that's super cool. And I'm not sure exactly what I'll be doing with these. I bought, I think, 25 of these, and I have one, and I gave my buddy Copper Dice one. And I'll either sell them, if y'all are interested in buying them, for I think maybe like $6, if that covers like shipping and everything. I won't be making anything off of them. And I'll probably give them out on giveaways and stuff like that. Or, if I go to shows, give them out to dealers that, want a business card, because that's essentially a business card for me in the YouTube space. And also, super nice, he did this for me too, being that he was making them. He made me, I think this is probably brass, if I had to guess. Let's see. Same, yeah, this is probably the brass. He did one on this. I think this is awesome too, and he has a play button on the back. So let me know what y'all think about the coins. Let me know if any of y'all might be interested in that. We can figure out something. And if you have any questions about the Mula, let me know down in the comments. Let me know what you think about it. If you have one, let me know how yours is and if you're enjoying it. And I hope everybody's having an absolute wonderful day. If you like this video, give it a big thumbs up. And I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.